Those subject matters appear in your new book, Look Again, when you're talking about the importance of variety in our lives. And it really shows up in all aspects of our lives, this need for variety, which you're kind of talking about there. People want to try something new. They want to learn something new. They want to be stimulated in some way. It's very true in work. You talk about that a lot. And as an employer, it really kind of hit me that one of the most effective things I could do to keep my team members motivated would probably be to change their jobs quite often, or at least add new elements to their responsibilities quite often.
Yeah. What the book is about habituation. And habituation is basically the phenomena which governs basically every part of our brain, which is we don't respond to things that don't change. When things are constant, where they're not changing, our brain just stops responding. And once you do change things around, even a little bit, then we start responding again. And at work, it's often the case in big companies, for example, that people will take employees and will let them rotate through different divisions once in a while, right? Because if you're staying at the same place, doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, you become complacent to some extent, right? But once you change, you're now talking to maybe a little different people. Maybe the projects are a little bit different. Then you start encoding again. It also enhances your creativity.
The word habituation is quite a long word. I'm sure most people won't be familiar with the word, probably never heard it before. I didn't hear about habituation until I was doing a lot of research ahead for my book and came across a lot of your research. But a really interesting way to illustrate what habituation is with images like this. Now tell me what's going on here. We're going to put this image on the screen, and also for those of you that are listening on audio, there'll be a link to this image in the description of this episode. But essentially, when you look at this image, in the center of this image for 30 seconds, especially when you're looking at it on a computer screen, all of the colors disappear if you stay focused on that black dot in the middle of this image for 30 seconds.
So this was a discovery by Austrian physician in 1804. What he discovered is that if you look, you have to not move your eyes. So fixate on the black cross and don't move your eyes. The colors fade away. They become gray. And if you're really good at this, so I've done this a few times and I was able to do this. Actually, the gray goes away and the whole thing just becomes white. Why is that? It's because the input into your neurons, if you're not moving your eyes, is constant. So the neurons are just getting the same input, so they stop responding. They're like, well, there's nothing new here. Let's save our resources for something else that's going to come along. So you stop noticing the color altogether. And that is habituation. Now, once you move your eyes, color comes back, right?
Or if anything moves in the background.
Well, you do, yeah. So then if you're moving your eyes, then the input into different neurons change, and then you consciously perceive the colors again. And I think it's the same in our life. If everything is constant, we don't perceive the good and we don't perceive the bad. But if we move our eyes enough, metaphorically, then we'll start noticing and feeling again.
Do all animals do this habituation thing?
Yeah, so it's something really fundamental. You see this in every living creature. And I think, to me, that's what's so interesting about this, right? Because something that seems to affect every part of our life, from our relationships to our mental health to our ability to innovate, you can actually track it down and you can see it's in every living animal. There's this habituation, the fact that neurons respond less and less to things that don't change, right? And that's true for things just like sound. If you hear the same sound again and again and again and again, you're no longer conscious of it. You're no longer responding to it. So that's just perceptual habituation. But habituation is also true for the fundamental things in our life that we really care about. And this is why people can have really great things in their life. I'm sure you do, right? Maybe like a great relationship, a good job, or a comfortable home. But what's interesting is that after a while, those things don't bring us the daily joy that they should, right? Because we kind of habituated to it. It's sort of like what is thrilling on Monday becomes boring on Friday. And the interesting thing is that's true also for the not so great thing around us. So there might be bad things around us like sexism, racism, cracks in our relationships, or inefficiencies at work. But if they're there all the time, after a while, we don't notice them. And if we don't notice them, we don't try to change them.